Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Oh, I had to work out the time because our clocks went back.
Yeah, it's confusing every time you have this shift from summer to winter. It's depressing in every way.
Do you do that there? Do
Yeah,
your
yeah,
clock?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought what you did.
And I'm sort of a person that when we're out traveling, I'm jet lagged. When we're in the States, I'm jet lagged for a week or something like that. And even this time change for just 1 hour is confusing me a
It
bit, but well, that's the
it
way it
does.
is.
It does. It just like throws everything out, and it's silly because it's only an hour. So Dan, lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
Um, how long have you been aware that this has been going on? Because I've seen you for years.
yeah. I'm becoming a veteran even
You are.
in this business. Well, there was a time when Facebook was so service minded. They had a time when where they every morning I woke up to a lot of messages from Facebook asking me whether I would allow this and this profile with my pictures on it. And then something went wrong with the
Yeah,
face recognition. I think that's a law in the state stopped it or whatever.
yeah.
But they stopped, and that was was it 6 7 years ago. That's how long I've been in this awful situation.
So how many people do you get contacting you?
Oh, it varies, but I would say that I get messages 5 10 times a day,
Yeah,
basically something like that. But understand that they are in very different categories because
yeah,
some are angry, some are just want me to know that they've been involved in a criminal business. And then you even have these that are the worst group, those that are angry at me. I mean, I had to deal with a lot of anger from certain women, and even these days, me and my wife are involved with a very upset, angry German woman, um, who are unable to understand the basic, you know, things about what has been going on in her life for quite some time.
I know we talk to many women like that. With all of you used, we talk to many women. I sort of can't understand where if they've gone through the scam, they've gone through this relationship, they know it's broken down in some way, but then you're trying to tell them that it was never you. It was, and we try and tell them what they are, but they can't grasp it. And it's like, but you don't listen to what we say. And it'll be the same with you, Dan. They don't listen to what you say, but they listened to every word that the scam had said to them.
Mm, understand that I have been doing, you know it, but it's not all the viewers that maybe know it, that I've been doing a radio documentary on national Danish radio with 4 episodes. I've even interviewed scammers on phone, or what I believe is scammers. You never know. You never know with
No,
these
they
people.
wouldn't.
You
No, they
never
don't
know with these people. Um, but
good
but
with them.
but understand that they're so clever. I mean, I smile a little because it's a crazy phenomenon that
Yeah,
these young boys are able to work with their victims' minds for weeks, for months,
yeah,
for years, and left our women hurt, and some of them broke, and some even in a sort of PSTD
yes, exactly.
situation.
In their heads, yes.
Yeah, in their heads. So even though I'm quite tired of especially the ones that are angry at me
Yes,
and are writing with big letters to me every day. Although I'm upset with the fact that I'm being not only the victim but sort of a double
yeah,
victim,
yeah,
I also am deeply into the situation. I understand the very basics of what is going on. So it's not like I hate these women or want to do something to hurt them even more. But of course, it's upsetting for me to go to this so many times every day, and then even
because,
getting,
you know, the women who have been in this relationship with you for months, let's say it's, you know, a year, just to say that. So they've been in a relationship with you for months, and then you suddenly get introduced to these women. So they may think they know who they're talking to, but for you, it's you know, straight into you, and you don't know them. And it's like, well, you should know them because, you know, this has been happening. And it's so difficult to get round what the scammer has put in their mind.
yeah. And well, I try to be polite every time I'm being contacted. Although I must say that it's some days are annoying. Had to use at least half an hour on this every day of my life. But I try to be polite in the first communication, and then. But I have a short temper, and I'm a busy guy. I have as you probably know, I have 4 grown-up children. I have a very active wife. I have 3 dogs. I'm working as a radio DJ on national radio. I'm doing podcasts. I'm out DJing in the weekends. And even though I have this quite busy schedule, I still find time to communicate in a polite way.
That busy schedule is your choice. That busy schedule is everything that you choose to do. Having to deal with the aftermath or the surroundings of this scam life, then, you know, that's something you shouldn't have to do because you haven't chosen it. One thing that I get very angry with before they get to you is I think that we all have, you know, rights in our life, and I think one right that you have is your face, and you should choose who's using you. You know, Dan, if a magazine wanted to come to your house and take lots of pictures of you and use them, that you would have to agree to that, and you would. But if somebody wants to come along and just take all your pictures and use them whenever they want to, that makes you a victim, a big victim. You know, and it's just, I wish I knew what we could do about it, because I don't. It's the easiest crime.
As far as I'm concerned, because, you know, doing radio documentaries and television programs about the subject as well, I must admit that I'm not very optimistic in getting specifically Instagram and Facebook to change their ways. I don't really understand how it's part of a good business to have like millions or maybe even billions of fake accounts, because I mean, it's cheating people that thinks, oh, this platform has so and so many followers, but I mean, if 50% of these followers are young boys from Nigeria or Africa or whatever, I mean, what's the whole deal with it? So, but I'm not very optimistic in them changing their rules in order, because it could be so easy to demand that every new started personal account should be identified with some sort of ID. I know that there would be a lot of, you know, young guys from different countries that would cheat with it, but it would still stop because these days I'm not only dealing with the super professional scammers. You see, I also catch their kid brother, 12, 14 years old, amateurs, stealing a couple of my pictures, even have their own picture as their profile picture, maybe even their own name, but they know from their big brother or someone in the street that this guy with this face is working. You can do business on this face. So sorry, but I'm not very optimistic. So to answer in a short way, communication and information is the only solution to this problem.
And Africa is not going to stop its scammers.
No.
Africa likes the money that gets in. Scammers spend money.
But
the economy.
But I even though I've interviewed scammers, and even though I am a victim of these scammers on a daily basis, I have to say, who can blame these young kids? They have no future, they have no work, they have no hope whatsoever. And then they can do this, and some of them get away with a lot of money. I mean,
but then, we hear all the time, 34 have been arrested in Texas.
Yeah.
Nigerians, and they're living super rich. So I can't get on their side. Even the ones in Nigeria, I can't get on their side. I think because we read, or we talk to too many people who've been broken by them. If they put all this energy into doing something for their own country, Nigeria would not be.
No, of course I agree, and knowing how some victims are killing themselves, suicide, and as we talked about, post-traumatic stress disorder, and family breaking up, because also I have, during the years, I'm communicating with daughters and sons and sisters, and they know what has been going on. They know that I'm a victim as well, but they can't get their mother to understand it or grasp it in every way.
I can't get the way that they get into a woman's mind. It wasn't using yourself, but just today I've been dealing with a woman that I talked to on October the 5th, and I thought she'd got out of it. And I was told today that she'd gone back to them. And I talked to her, and yes, she has. She's got, and it was one of the American military. And it's just, we say one thing, they go back. Scamboy says, "I'm real, babe," and they're back into it. The thing is, Dan, I'm going to ask you, because I know the answer, but I show this to, people that are using you when we need to. You're not on an oil rig, are you? Because I know that's where they usually have you.
There's a lot of explanations why they're using me, because as I say when I'm interviewed in Danish media, I'm not exactly Mads Mikkelsen or Daniel Craig, but I know, I've been working with media, selling myself since I was 20 years old. I was one of the ones who broke the radio monopoly in Denmark, first to do commercial national radio. I've been on television. I'm sort of sort of a celebrity in my home country. So I'm used to being recognized. I'm used to being contacted by people that I don't know, women that I don't know.
You've got a face that works, Dan.
Thank you. But it's but it's also, with me, it's also a question of my hair has become like it does usually if you don't cheat. It's becoming gray, and they can see that I'm a man. I'm a man that has lived a life and is living a life, because a lot of my pictures has the image of an active person. So there's a lot of explanations to why they are using me. And what upsets me the most, of course, was the years when my daughter was a minor. These days, these days, people are 16 and doing her own business, and you cannot make her do anything or cheat her to do anything. So I'm not that worried about her. But like 5-6 years ago, when she was under 10, and there was these stories that they made up that she was in the hospital and they wanted money for her. That kind of makes me sick. Of course it does.
And when they say things like, that you're a widower, that your wife has died in a car crash.
Yeah, that's Charlotte is not too fond of those stories as well. But as you know, and a lot of the people watching this, and that's what I'm talking about, to make women or victims, human beings, more aware, more cautious, to always think, first of all, this could be a scam or something that's not right. I'm not saying that this person contacted me is a criminal, but start by thinking this could be wrong, instead of being so trustworthy and trustful and believe. Because now we were talking about my looks, but I'm an active man with sort of good looks, but still some of these victims do just a little tiny research.
Yes,
Just stop for 1 hour.
It wouldn't take much
Before you get too involved, because some of these youngsters are world champs in flirting and giving you saying all the things that you want to hear. It's like they've been on some sort of education for some of them. I mean,
well, we know that they do. I mean, we follow a lot of the Yahoo Boy groups on, Telegram, the chat app, and they will say regularly, "Can I take 10 and train them, to do Yahoo?" And so we know there's plenty of teachers, absolutely plenty of teachers doing it. But I always say this when people come to us, they find us very, very easily. Now, Dan, if they did searches on you, they would find you very, very easily.
Very easily. Because, as I said, I've got 35,000 followers on my Facebook. I'm verified on both Instagram and Facebook. That should mean something if you know your basics. And the photo research, if that gets you to one of my accounts on either Instagram or Facebook, you will see that even on my credits and just after my photo, there's information about what is going on. Please report fake accounts. Please understand that I'm not contacting foreign women or foreign people.
Or anybody.
But still, information, communication is, as I see it, unfortunately, the only tool we will have also in the nearest future.
And I always think that people, especially older people, and we do know a lot of older women are victims, but they get up in the morning and they cough and they don't feel well and they might feel a bit hot, so they're straight on Google. What's wrong with me? Am I dying? They start to talk to a new person, and it's, oh, he's nice, and they just let themselves be led. They do not do the research right at the beginning, which you would think people would. And I would like us to get to a point where people would check before they got into a relationship, because even if they're using your pictures, Dan, you are a stranger to the person, to the woman, and you would think, I would like to know who somebody talking to me was, but they don't. They just go straight into it.
Too fast. Yes. And when I did the radio documentary, I of course I got upset and I got sad by some of the facts that me and a very, very clever Danish journalist found out while doing our research and our work and our interviews. And I got sort of sad because there's so many lonely people out there. We in the West tend to have not that many worries because we got roof over our head and we are getting food every day and we go on holiday, most of us, and so on. But it kind of makes me sad that there's so many lonely, not only lonely women, but obviously also a lot of lonely men in the Western world, and that and it's so sad because we should have to trust each other, and this that we can talk here, you in the UK and me in Denmark, like nothing, like the most natural thing, should give us all these opportunities to learn about other people, learn about other nationalities, understand the basics of human beings in other countries.
Yeah.
But still, you and me and a lot of people involved in this trying to stop some of the scammers have to warn
Yes.
these people, these lonely people,
Yeah.
to be extra careful.
Yeah. Because and you know, we always say, you know, have you had a video chat with them? You're talking to someone. Now, they often have you working on an oil rig or something out in the sea, or a ship like Thomas. Poor Thomas is, you know, as you know, is everywhere. And they'll say something like, oh, we can't do a video chat. So that is just accepted. Now, to me, if you were talking to somebody new, if you could get them to this is a video chat where I can say something and you can say something, and that would prove that you are real.
But you know, the scary thing is that they have been stealing my videos as well, and they have put over voices. So some of the most persistent of the female victims, that some of them are threatening me with, you know, everything from Danish police to one of the things that actually makes me laugh is that I've had a couple of desperate women asking my wife whether they should send some naked pictures of me, and she always answers, yes, please do. I mean, that's too ridiculous. But they are very clever in editing and dubbing videos. So one trick, because of course, like you and me are talking now and responding to what each other says, proves that this is going on for real. But one of the things that is a kind of a good advice is that to ask them to have a piece of paper and then to write something specific for them while chatting, video chatting, because obviously they're not able to do that. So that could work.
Yeah.
But before you come to the situation where a potential victim will ask for this, the victim has to know that she or he is a potential victim.
Well, this is it. We have Brian Rompero who's watching here, and Brian is another one. He's an American military, and he's used as well. And he's just said, you know, he's got 1,000 on there, and it's just they're just swallowing up people. It's like they've got a big fishing net, and they're just getting you all and putting you in to use, you know, and it's just the worst thing, because to many people, your pictures, Dan, and Brian as well, and Thomas and the other gentleman from Vienna that we had on at the beginning, they don't see you as people. You are a set of pictures to be used.
I know it's sort of freaks me out a bit, because I know that by now my picture is not only on fake accounts on Instagram and Facebook, but on, you know, numerous of dating sites in all different countries, and on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I know that my picture is everywhere, and I know what you're saying about that some potential victims or these people doing the criminal business, they are not, they don't see me as a person, as a human being alive with a family and, you know, a life to live.
You know, they're just talking to somebody and it's, oh, look, I'll send you another couple of pictures. You know, this is me, this is my daughter, and everything. And it's just, you cease to become a human. And I think that, again, it's very sad, because it's against, you know, the rights that you have, and people don't appreciate, Dan. People do not understand that you can't do anything about this.
No.
You can't get those pictures back.
No. And you know what? I've been interviewed before quite a lot of times about this subject, and I gotta tell you, I'm not a guy. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter, and there's no way, even though I'm using half an hour sometimes on this, even though some of the victims are threatening me and my wife, even though we go through all these experiences. I'm not going to change anything about my performance, the way that I present myself, being a public person, and sometimes showing a happy picture of my loving family or whatever. I'm not going to change anything.
You can't, because that is your right. We are in an era, if you like. We are in a time when, you know, everybody puts and enjoys putting things on social media. They enjoy it. They enjoy showing people the family, showing people what they're doing. And I think you have as much right as absolutely anybody. Why should you not be able to do that? Because someone may come along and steal it. You know, it's, you haven't got any less rights than anybody else.
I'm glad that you're pointing it out, because that's especially in my home country, because being a public figure for my whole adult life, some people love me and some don't. That's the way it works.
Well,
and
that's the way of the world.
And some of the criticism I've had during the years is that, oh, you can just make a closed account and you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. And I mean, it's like blaming a raped person, saying you should have put on that dress or whatever. That's the same situation I'm finding, and I'm not going to change anything. But I just want to point out again, like we talked about, doing this, shouting out, communicating, and doing all what you can of medias and interviews and have cases. And some of the most brave victims are, after some time, able to come out and tell their story and even show their face and you know, expose what consequences these crimes have for the victims.
Because, you know, we have it all the time. We have a, you know, really sad conversations with people. Some will accept what's happened and they'll just be sad. You know, others, it really, really ruins their lives. I personally had somebody, you know, I was talking to a woman's friend and I knew the friend had been a victim, and I asked how the friend was, and she said she couldn't take it anymore. And she commit suicide. And it's like it doesn't get any bigger than somebody losing their life because
But my last story would be that the very angry and upset woman I've got these days, these weeks, from Germany, has used 600,000 euros, paid 600,000 euros to the criminal. And I can't help myself of being a bit upset of what she's been pulling me and my wife through for the last couple of weeks. But I still totally understand the desperate situation, because with her and a lot of the other victims, it's a mixture of feeling cheated and let down, and then, you know, being heartsick, being in love. I mean,
you know, it's just like having a husband or a wife die, but you never got to meet them. And also, you know, they give the money on trust because they think they're going to get the money back. You know, it's a loan, it's an investment or whatever. So they think they're going to get that money back. So they've trusted. You can tell how much trust they've had in the relationship when they've given 600,000 euro. We've had 2 people this year give over 2 million. And it's just like they invest everything of themselves in the relationship. And it could all have been very different, Dan. Right at the beginning.
Unfortunately, I don't have any fixed plan or solution to this during the next couple of years, because this is as people can probably figure out, this is $1 billion
Yeah.
business. Some say that it's only trafficking and sales of drugs worldwide that are bigger in income for criminals. So we just have to shout out that people have
But
to
Dan,
be.
everybody knows about trafficking. Everybody knows about drugs. Nobody knows about this crime.
Not
enough.
more and more does, fortunately. But there's, of course, you are right. There's a lot of work to be done, and that's why I wanted to use half an hour with you, Ruth, and people following, just to make this little drop of information out there. And
we use these chats over and over because, you know, as people come to us now and forever, and you know, we can actually prove who you are, and that you have not, and you know, your voice is very different. Even if they do a voiceover, it is not your voice.
No. And could I can say one thing, because I have, of course, I can spot a scammer from 1,000 miles away from here. But let me just say one thing. This is a very good advice, and it works. If some of you guys are communicating with a person not using the term I am, but skipping the I and say am, then you are communicating with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So please make a note. If am honest or am whatever, that's a no-go.
Because they do say that sometimes they'll say, oh, but he had good English. And when you have a look, yes, the English was very good, but all the words in the middle were am. They still put am in all the time.
There's a lot of what you say, African lingo, if you're chatting with them for some time. And yes. And another thing, as you also know, they have a tendency of claiming that they are very religious and writing and talking a lot about God.
They need to be God-fearing with what they're doing, Dan. But yes, and they do. And you know, I often say this to them, that, you know, God is watching and you are pretending to be religious. Oh, you know, he forgives everybody's sins. Well, I don't think that's quite true. Not in the way that they do it. You know, they can justify everything. Everything they can do, they can find a justification for it.
It has nothing to do with being serious about God or God-fearing or religious in any way. I mean, what a joke.
Yes, exactly. It just makes them sound good.
Yeah, I know.
It just makes them sound good, and it's sickly. If more people could see what it's like from both sides, you know, women are scammed once, you were used 1,000 times a day. So, you know, it's the impact on lives. This is not a small crime. It's not something that, well, you get over. It's not like having a purse stolen. It's a big crime that affects lives, and you know, we're just going to have to deal with it and try and get fewer people. You know, my thing is, they're not going to stop. Africa is not going to stop them. We have to stop them getting money. And if they got less money, that would be a big impact.
You see, I see statistics about which countries and which cities are visiting my profiles, and I have written this a lot of times on Instagram, and I have to understate that's my opinion. If I could block Nigeria as a country, I would do it in a heartbeat.
We do on Facebook. We have West African countries all blocked.
So that's a small step, and I understand that most of the people in these countries are not criminals. They are trying to get some sort of life out of what works for them. but I would, because blocking Nigeria on Instagram would save me a lot of time and a lot of hurt people.
And I don't know why you can't, because you can on Facebook and it's the same company. So why do they just allow it on one platform and not the other?
It would be a long night if we had to understand how Facebook and Instagram works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I just think if I was advertising on Instagram or Facebook and I paid a lot of money to, you know, a lot of men on oil rigs, there must be more fake accounts on oil rigs than there are men on oil rigs. So I think I would be a bit upset to, you know, my advertising being aimed at fake accounts. But no, thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much for taking the time.
You're always welcome, and I would say to you, I appreciate the work that you do, and you do it tirelessly, and you just continue, and sometimes you as well and me are like, I mean, how naive can people be out there? But there's a lot of work to be done also in the future, unfortunately.
Yes, I mean, we all, you know, I always say it doesn't matter that you can't understand how it happens, because we can't understand how it happens, because you can't get into the mind of the victim. We've just got to understand that it does happen and we have to deal with it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care, and thanks for all the comments. I didn't write anything or add to it, but thank you all, and have a good night.
That's lovely. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
And good night, everybody. Good night now.